We are happy to welcome Deepti Sharma. Her company, FoodtoEat, is a corporate catering concierge service that promotes sustainability in the food industry. She's been on Forbes 30 Under 30 list. Boom! That's awesome. And she's here to discuss her company and food trends we can expect in 2019. Hi!
Hi, how are you?
Great. Thank you for joining us. So tell us about your company, FoodtoEat.
Yeah, so FoodtoEat, like you said, we're a corporate catering concierge service. And what that means is we actually partner with over 100 local food vendors that are of immigrant, women, and or minority background. And what we do is we essentially take over sales and marketing for their catering services and sell those catering services to large companies like Microsoft, eBay, ad agencies, law firms. And the idea is we're helping them grow and scale their catering business, and for companies, we're helping them diversify where they're purchasing their food from. So as opposed to just relying on food service like Aramark or Sodexo, we're helping them realize that your purchasing power can be a bit more diverse. Like, for example, there's supplier diversity officers at a lot of these large companies, and so we're just helping them engage with their community a bit more.
Why do you focus on local vendors?
So I'm a native New Yorker. It's what I know best. We look at immigrant, women, and minority because it's representative of who I am and my team. And I think it's just important because a lot of, when I first started the business, I had a lot of conversations with the owners. And a lot of times what's interesting is they don't necessarily come from a business background. They've taken this up as a job, and it's just something that they do to pay the bills. And so we wanted to come in and just help them better utilize their skills, which, they know how to do food, but they didn't know the business aspect. So we're like, well, let us come in, let us help you. You spend so much time making your food and you forget to actually work on your business. So we'll help you kind of sell the other side and grow, a lot more than you can right now.
Why was it important for you to get people to understand what goes into their food?
So, it's interesting because we work with a lot of these corporations and, they provide benefits, and the benefits, a part of them are free food. And people show up, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing, it's free food, and then they walk away and they don't think about that meal. Food is a lot more than just, shoving stuff in our body. It's sustenance. It's what keeps us alive, basically. And, what's important is the hard work that goes into it. We think about, just our daily jobs and, what it takes for you to show up here every day and do what you do. I think it would.
Coffee.
Yeah. Well,
I'm only kidding.
Besides coffee, I think it's really interesting to understand your story and your background, and that's how you relate with your viewers. And that's how we want people to relate to their food, is to understand who's the person behind this, right? So, for example, we have a vendor. Her business's name is King David Tacos. And she, actually, interestingly enough, worked at one of our clients in an ad agency and got really tired of her job. Her father passed away. She was from Austin and was missing home. And in order to honor her father and her city, she was thinking about, well, what can I do? And she was like, there's no great breakfast tacos in New York. And so she decided to start this business, King David Tacos. She named it after her father. And she decided to honor also awesome breakfast tacos. And what's fun is that you can get breakfast tacos in New York, but they're not as common. But when you hear this woman's story and, the fact that she came from a different background, she's not even a chef technically, but she decided to bring something that she loved that was so near and dear to her to New York, and to decide to do it in a catering style was awesome. And so those are the stories that I think are really interesting, and the fact that you get to support a woman and grow her businesses even better.
Tell us about your new campaign called I Made Your Food.
So I Made Your Food is essentially a campaign to highlight the stories that we were just talking about of owners, chefs, and operators in these vendors that we're working with. And so we're actually having all of our vendors hold signs that say, I made your food. And we're having them printed out and sent with the food. So the idea is to get people to look at these photographs and strike some kind of emotion and get them to start thinking about, oh, wow, this is the person that had something to do with what showed up here today. Even if it's as simple as a breakfast pastry, someone made that. Somebody kneaded the dough and put it together, added the sugar and put it into the oven. And that in itself is really cool. The next thing that we would like to do is the cost, right? People really often don't think about what it costs to get food on the table as well, and how hard it is for a business in New York to sustain itself and to grow and scale. And so for us, I Made Your Food is all about just highlighting the people behind it, similar to like Humans of New York, where, New Yorkers don't generally stop and ask you, what's your story? And that, I think, helps people just stop and think about the person, next to them.
What do you think of trends like the ugly produce movement? It's a harsh word to be calling vegetables.
It's definitely harsh, and I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing that people are trying to stop waste. Essentially, there's companies like Watermelon Juice that they started their whole business on the fact that bad or ugly watermelons were being thrown out and wasted. And essentially, they're turning it into amazing juice, and they had Beyonce invest in it because it's, we have a lot of waste. I think there's something for, just because something doesn't look good doesn't mean it won't taste good or it won't cook well. And so I think it's really important for initiatives like that to continue and to grow because it helps bring light on things that are really important when we think about, the environment.
Well, no wonder why you made the Forbes list, and completely innovative and very much needed. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.